How you doing, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Chris the Connecticut Landlord. Uh, this episode is going to be all about planning. Let me just start out. If you're not currently a planner, you're going to need to become one if you want to be successful. It's not the type of business where you can just shoot from the hip. So, some of the initial steps that I would take: run a self-assessment on your own or with your partner, significant other, wife, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend of 10 years, and ask yourself some of the following questions, all right? Are you getting into the landlording game for future equity or current cash flow? Two completely different types of buildings that you're going to be owning, depending on the answer to that question. If you're getting into it for future equity, you're going to be buying a building that has low cash flow. And the inverse is true if you want high cash flow. Those buildings will not appreciate at the same rate. Okay? So, you might just want to buy a few one-family houses and sell them when you retire, and the neighborhood has gone up because you've done your homework, and you've made several $100,000. You can retire a little early. You might decide you want to get into multi-unit properties with higher cash flow, keep reinvesting the money and buying more properties, and you can sell those later, obviously, refinance them, leave them all to your kids. But that's generally the case with equity versus cash flow. You can't have them both, okay? If you're gaining a lot of equity, you're not going to have a lot of cash flow. Are you good with people? All right, you've got to really be able to not have power struggles, listen to people, solve problems, don't just expand on the problem, how many tenants is too many, okay? And do you reach a threshold where you want to keep buying and turn everything over to a property manager? Or do you reach a threshold where you just stop buying and you say, I own 6 houses in the town that I live in, and when the kids start going to college and start getting married, I'll start selling them. So assessing yourself is a big part of it. Ask yourself whatever other questions come into your mind. Write down the answers. Make that page one of your business plan, and then go and get a formal book on how to write a business plan. Start going through that process. It is a process. And developing your plan. Initially, start your plan off in an unpressured, informal manner. Okay? Don't worry about punctuation and things of that nature. Simply start going through the exercise. It's more of an exercise. You're going to keep your business plan alive. You're constantly going to be developing it. Once a week on a Sunday morning, I revisit my business plan. And I expand on it, I correct it. Tremendous tool for reflection, realistically, on what's going on. Okay? You have to do it. You have to do it. You can't simply rely on, the book you read about real estate investing, or I'm not putting any of those tools down, classes you take. Those are all excellent tools. but you need to have a plan. If you have a plan prior to purchase, you'll be surprised how smooth things go after your purchase. If you jump right in, you will have to start making plans, and that's the wrong and most frustrating time to start making plans. So, put together a couple pools of money, okay? While you're writing your plan, you need to have a war chest for evictions, things that break, things that need to be replaced, what have you. People move out, okay? And that's got to be separate from your down payment, all right? Typically, you're going to have, if you're off-site, you're going to have about 25%. If you want to live in your first rental, you only have to have 3%. So it's a nice way to start off. That's how I started off. In a duplex, put some money into it, started renting it out, and the rent from that unit was a tremendous pressure relief on my finances. Don't get intimidated. Don't get bogged down in your business plan. When you find yourself getting to that point, just stop. Go watch your kid's soccer game. Revisit it the following week. Okay. But this is serious, and you do need to have a plan. All right. It also is going to act as a reality check for you. All right. I'll give you a quick story. I happened to be at a local real estate auction a couple of years ago, and there was a building lot right next to a building I own that came up for sale, that had been repossessed by the city and came up for auction. And so naturally, that's the only reason I was there. The only thing the lot was useful for to me was additional parking. Tenants could play there, what have you. My assessment was, putting my head together with my realtor, it would probably add about $10,000 to the property value. Go to the auction, offer a few $1,000s, someone starts to compete with me. Never seen this person before in my life. We got up to the $11,000 mark, and I'm saying to myself, this person's nuts. They have no vested interest in this property. They're way above market value. It was not a big lot. It's not a lot you could do anything with. About half of it is a hillside. We're starting to get stupid at this point. So I pulled out of the auction, let him take the lot, went home to lick my wounds. It's been 2 years. The gentleman obviously had no plan. The building lot is still up for sale for a completely unrealistic amount of money. He's paying the taxes on it. It just completely out of whack in my estimation. I neglected to mention I had a few friends give me estimates on what it would take to amend my lot, the current lot the building was on, for parking. And I was at about $4,000 for the work. So I saved myself $8,000 or $9,000, an increased tax bill. And I'm continuing to run my business and cash flow and watch this person flounder without a plan. I mean, absolutely just flop around on a deck. So I don't want that to be you ever, okay? So you need to have this overall master plan of where you want to be. Next, you want to start researching neighborhoods that fit your plan. If it's multifamily properties, it's going to be in a city environment. Check out the local cities, go to the Chamber of Commerce, check out how frequently the houses on those streets sell, where you're going to be located. Do as much intimate homework as you can on those neighborhoods. Again, this is going to hedge your success. You want your first purchase to go smooth, and it will if you know what you're getting into, okay? And you know your neighborhood. So furthermore, your rate of appreciation, okay, your tax assessor's database, drive around, okay, sorry guys, I lost my place, forgive me. Nothing is 100%, nothing is 100%, but you need to have a toolbox of resources that you use by yourself or with your business partner, life partner, that tell you where you're going to be in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Without it, you're going to flop around on the deck like a fish. Now, due diligence is very important. It's going to help you make an educated decision on whether or not the building you're about to buy is going to do what you want it to do. The first one's by far the toughest. After you've put this all together for yourself, it gets easier because you simply replicate. You will purchase your first building with a plan, with confidence that piece that you don't have right now will be installed in front of you, and suddenly you'll be making money, you'll be successful. Don't buy a building that needs a lot of work. Don't buy a building that's vacant, okay? You just simply don't have enough savvy in the game yet at this point to get it up and rented. There might be a local problem that it can't be rented, and someone's snickering like, oh wow, this guy's gonna give me that for that house. So it's very important that you hedge your bets and it goes smooth. It should fall together. Some very good advice I've gotten in business. It's the opposite of forcing it. You're not working out and trying to lift another 50 pounds on the bench press this week. The pieces need to come together almost on their own, okay? Later on, you can strive more and more, and you will make more money, but especially in the beginning, the pieces need to come together. I see a lot of first-time investors looking for alternate financing for their down payment, and they found this building and it's cheap, but it needs a lot of work, and you don't want to start doing that. Things cost a lot more when you close on a building and start doing renovations than you will ever budget for when you're a novice. It's just that simple. Even when you've done it before, things come out of nowhere. Basements suddenly are found to have radon. You find lead paint. You have to not force it. Don't throw yourself into anything difficult. Throw yourself into something you'll be successful at. Alright, so, okay, here's another one. Don't be afraid, once you have your plan together and you have your confidence that you have your plan and it's sound and you're out there shopping, Okay, you've got the money set aside. You think you find a building that's going to be great for you and your plan, and you do an inspection, or you do a little more homework about the neighborhood, and you find out, I shouldn't buy this. Okay. A quick example. I knew a guy who was going to purchase a bait and tackle store. Did a mild amount of homework. Found out that they were putting in a Walmart down the street, closer to the water than this bait and tackle store. Well, just about every Walmart I've ever been in has a sporting section, okay, and you're never going to compete with them. So he walked away. All right, no professional realtor that's on your side will damn you for that action. It's just the opposite. They'll remain professional, they'll respect your judgment, and they'll continue to work with you. They'll find you something else. That's the importance of having a good team member or several good team members. So in this case, your realtor, when you're out shopping, should never push you. They'll respect realistic reasons. If you just decide that you don't want it, you've entered into contract, and you know you don't have a sound reason, that's another story. But if you have a sound reason, move on. Okay? And go through the inspection process for the first time, install your first tenant, or take over your first tenant. I prefer taking over buildings that are rented. It's very easy. And realistically, don't take on any buildings where you've got tenants below market value. If you've got 3, 4, 5, 6 tenants, or it's a one family, and they're living there for what you think is half the price, there's a reason. And you might think to yourself, well, I'll either double the rent and they'll accept it, or they'll get out and I'll put someone else in there. It's easier said than done, especially when you've never done it. So, is there a polluted stream out back? And that's the reason these people have been living in this one family ranch house at the end of a dead end street at half price. You just don't force anything. I guess that's the plan, and don't force. That's the overall theme of today's episode. Again, when your business model is in place, your type of property is in place, what kind of appreciation or cash flow you want is in place, how long you want to own said buildings for, your location is picked out, and you have an exit strategy that's reasonable, then you just replicate as fast as you can. If you buy a multifamily property, it's up and running, you make $10,000, $12,000 your first year, you want to stick that right in the bank and do it again the second year, and that's going to be your down payment on another multifamily, and you will grow exponentially. It can happen, but you have to have a plan. You have to be realistic from day one and along the way. You can get there, you can do it. You will have a lot more confidence if you do your homework. So that's the sum total of today's episode. Planning, not getting screwed, okay? Planning will keep you from getting screwed. Research will keep you from not getting screwed. You don't want to wind up with the guy who still owns the lot next door to one of my buildings, who is lost completely. Okay, he's tied up $13,000. He ties up about $1,000 a year in taxes. He's got nothing to show for it, and I don't want that to be you. Okay, I walked away. I paid $4,000. I got my parking out of it, and that building cash flows. Okay, that's the difference between running a business and running forward based on emotion. I feel I want this piece of property. Emotions can't run your business for you. You have to run your business for you. And please take it from me. If you run your business for you, you'll always be successful. If your emotions get involved, you're going to start to falter. I can't stress that enough. I want everybody to succeed. I want everybody to do well and to be happy along the way. And if you have a plan, you do your research, you're not afraid to dedicate the time behind the scenes to this. It's not like going to a beach party. It's not a day at the casino, but it's necessary. It's necessary. And it will get you much further in the long run than those who don't have a plan. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Please hit like and share, and hope to see you again soon on another episode of Chris the Connecticut